Okay, perfect. So see, now again I just modified the things because I supposed to start the object-oriented programming today, so I prepared accordingly. But anyway, since I want all of you guys to complete whatever we learned till now, and then we'll move forward. So we have two doubts over here. So few of you are not able to complete the tic-tac-toe game, and few of you are not able to. Or we got confused yesterday, right? So it was not. So it was just a small mistake. I couldn't figure out it because of those two star. So we'll be doing it today. Okay, so that it's not a very big thing that we missed. It was just a small mistake. Okay, so with that, we are going to finish the keyword argument first, then we are going to complete the tic-tac-toe game, and then I wanted to give you a brief about this anonymous function, lambda function, okay? Then we'll have our most favorite quiz. Okay, with this, let me share my PPT. Let me share my screen with you. So today is day 13, right? Okay, so what I'll do is, where are you? So I'll not be able to type all the code today of tic-tac-toe game because it's too heavy and it will take a lot of time. So I'm just keeping it over there and then unpacking and packing as well. Okay, fine. Yeah, here we go. Are you able to see my PyCharm? Yeah, perfect. Perfect. So it's Sakshi. She just changed the name. Okay, fine. So Sakshi, are you able to, were you there in yesterday's lecture? Are you able to finish the tic-tac-toe? Okay, so as I told you, we are going to move forward with no. Okay, it's fine. So we are going to move towards the argument. So we learned four different types of argument, right? So what are they? Just quickly give me the names of the all argument that we learned. So what was the first argument? Default, right? Then what was the third argument? Second. Just quickly, just keyword argument, keyword. I'll read. Okay, fine. So keyword argument is there, right? Then what is the third argument? Required. Yes. Default required. And the last one which we learned yesterday is variable length argument, right? Variable length. So that was the point yesterday we were covering, right? So variable length argument are used for, I already told you, those are used for packing and unpacking variables. Okay, so you can pack a whole list into one small variable and you can pass that variable to the function. Okay, so there are two ways to go with variable arguments. So one is with single star and one is with double star. Okay, so the normal data types, so integer, float, and all that stuff, when you don't have to deal with a lot of things, so that time you just need to go with single asterisk, and you can use this first type of variable length argument, that is with single asterisk. And the second one is with double asterisk that we learned that we couldn't finish yesterday. So that with double asterisk, so it is only used when you have the dictionary kind of set, or it is when you want to use the keywords as an argument. Okay, so let me quickly just let me take a new file over here on day 13. Okay. So I'll give a name keyword arg. Okay. So yesterday we saw. So again, I'll take the addition function again because this is my favorite one, and you might be aware till now. Okay. So there are a few things I don't. I always stick with the basic and simplest things because it will help me to remember faster. Because I can play with this addition for loop. I can play with this addition for function. And again, when we are going to move towards object-oriented program, this addition will be there. So this will help us to match or remember all the things, what happens to this addition when we'll do different things. Okay, so this will just print simply return the addition. So right now I'm not going to do the same thing which we used a lot of things yesterday. So this will just return a plus b. Okay, and yesterday I told you, so instead of giving the two, or while calling the argument, sorry, while calling the function, you need not to give two, something like here, okay, 10 comma 20. Okay, so yesterday we saw, instead of giving two, uh, uh, while we are passing two arguments, we do not need to use two parameters over here. So we learned, instead of that, you can replace it with single star. So it is called as variable length argument. So this is called as, so there were two different variables over here, and I packed, so this is packing. Okay, so I packed those numbers, sorry, I packed those variables in a single variable, those two different items into a single variable. It is called as packing. And so okay, so let me just copy code, because we already yesterday we did this thing. Okay, so this is the packing things we learned yesterday. Okay, so what I just did is, so this is my addition function again. So this is having value 10, then 20, then 30, suppose. Okay, so these are my values. I'm just passing it here over here. I'm just running the code. Sorry, I haven't printed. So you can pass only integers or the value. You can't. So why you want to make it like that? Okay, so it's 60. So what I did is, I just packed three different numbers into one variable, and that variable, so it is a packing of variable. Similar way, there is another concept in this keyword, sorry, in this variable type argument. So that is unpacking. It means, suppose I have another function called as subtraction, and if it is asking me for two numbers, okay, a minus b, and there will be a subtraction at the end. So return a minus b. Okay, so this function will, sorry, return me this. Okay, what happened? Comma, I forgot the comma. Okay, so here when I'm going to call this function, there is one more way, that is called as unpacking. Okay, means here I'm going to pass one variable, and there it will split and it will become two different variables. So it is called as unpacking. So this concept is really very important from all the perspective when you are going to give interview for Python developer, or whatever it may be in related to Python. If you are applying for the Python developers role, so this type of questions will be definitely there. Okay, so just keep your focus over here. So we just saw, we packed these three numbers into one variable. Now I'm unpacking. I want here as a number. Okay, here there will be, so so first we need to have a variable, right? So number is equal to, this is my tuple, and in this tuple there are two numbers, and I'm passing this tuple over here. Okay, so this is one variable I'm passing over here, and I just need to use this asterisk that we learned. We learned the power of this asterisk. Okay, yesterday itself we learned the power of this, sorry, subtraction. Okay, we learned this power of the power of this asterisk. So what asterisk will do? It will help us to pack and unpack the variable. Okay, right now what it is doing? So see, this number will contain this this tuple. Okay, so I'm just passing this number with asterisk, and I haven't assigned whether it is A or B. Okay, so I haven't mentioned whether 10 will be A or 20 will be B. So it will automatically go and it will replace the corresponding variable. So suppose, okay, let me show you by running this code. Print, and here we go. Okay, so we got the subtraction as 10 minus 20. So this, by default, it considers the first number as 20, 10, and second number as 20. Sorry, getting my point. So this is called as, yeah, we'll do it. Hashtag unpacking. So this is what we just learned, is unpacking. Okay, now, so I can do the subtraction with, or we can do it. Okay, so what if I have three numbers? Okay, so if I have A, B, C, 3. So here I need to do the subtraction in that sequence also. Okay, so that time I also need the numbers to, I need to pass something, the tuple which will have three numbers. Okay, so here I'm going to add a number, and it will again, so this is the one variable which is having this tuple, and it will, this is a micro, or you can say this is packed thing, and we are, while calling this function, we are unpacking this number into a, b and c, and then the corresponding operation will takes place. Okay, so 5 minus 10 minus 20 is equal to 20. Okay, 5 minus 10 40, 40 minus 20 20. So this is what I just wanted to clear yesterday, so we skip this unpacking part. So this is about normal argument. So when we are talking about integer, strings and all those things, okay, so that time you can use single asterisk and your work is done. But when there is when you don't have a single data, or you need to know, right now you are not sure, right? So 50 it is going on this place and 10 it is going on the second place, it is taking the place automatically directly, right? So I don't want to do that. I want to give 50 at a suppose this, I am writing it in this sequence. Okay, so this is my biggest number and I'm writing at the end, and suppose if I run the code, so my output is minus 60. But what I want is, I want 50 at first place, I want 10 at a second place, and I want 20 at third place. Okay, so for that we learned, if you want to define that which argument should take which parameter, or which argument should be equal to which parameter. So that time we learned we need to use keyword arguments. We need to provide keywords, right? So are you remember, we did this thing, we need to give the parameters. Okay, so in order to do that, we need to, yeah, so good that you know that. Okay, so in order to use keyword arguments, so for that, so you can't use that keyword arguments with normal single asterisk. Okay, so we can, yes, like that, a is equal to 50. But you don't need to, when you are using this unpacking method, you don't need to specify over here. At the end, while calling the function, I'm going to give on the name of only one variable. Okay, but since I want to call it, I want to pass keyword argument, so I'll slightly change this variable which I was passing. So right now it was tuple and we were passing tuple, but since I want this particular tuple or the values inside tuple to take specific parameter from my function, so I'll just change this tuple. I need the same value, but I'm not going to use the same tuple. This time I'm going to use a dictionary. Okay, so this is my another variable which I'm going to pass it over here. So this will be my dictionary, and here, so it will be a is equal to 50. Let me just do it like this. Not like that. B is equal to 20. Sorry, dictionary should be written like this, right? So nobody stopped me. I was doing the same thing, and okay, I need to take it into the brackets, and then dictionary should be written like this, right? It should be in brackets, and B will be our 10, and our last variable, that is C, will be our value of, C's value will be 20. Okay, let me just align it again. Okay, so this is our dictionary ready for ready to pass into my function. Okay, so my function, now suppose, now this has whole scenario. Now my subtraction function I want to call, but I want to assign a specific value at a specific location, that is keywords, right? So for, in order to do that, I'm using a dictionary for passing the variables, but that time I'm not going to do the same thing. I'm going to use, I can't use just like this. Okay, so this will not work. This will not give us the right output we are looking for. So for that, we need to use two asterisks over here. So which will, so this will specify the keywords. So this first it will reiterate this, and second asterisk will iterate each and every variable. Okay. So let's run the code and see I got my 20. Okay, so just let me just give you one more example that will help you. Yeah, a colon 50. Yeah, thanks, Nandani. Okay, so let me just give you one more example. So yesterday I was just showing you the example of intro where we got stuck. So let me just show you that particular example, which will help you to clear the concept more in depth. Okay, so this is, I'm just removing this subtraction from here. Okay, so what was our function was? Our function was introducing some guy, right? So intro, def intro. Okay, so introduction will have my name, then we'll have the age of the person, then we'll have what he likes, right? Likes. Okay, so now I'm going to print the statement. Just we did like yesterday. Okay, meet, who is, what is his name? Then he is dash dash, sorry, years old. He likes XYZ. Then we are going to format. We know the string format, right? So those who do not know what is string formatting, just go and visit the previous lectures. Age and then likes. Okay, so this is all my done. So what I'm going to do is, so usually what we were doing when we are calling this intro, what we were doing the normal way is we were giving the name, like name is equal to, this is what we were giving, right? Name is equal to what? Akshay. Okay. So this was the keyword argument, but I don't want to do the normal way. I want, if I want moving forward, if I want to write few more names, or if I want to traverse more through this dictionary. Okay, so in that I'm not going to do like this. Okay, instead what I'll do, I'll create a dictionary of this particular stuff. Let's call it as D, and here I'll give all my values. I don't want to play and I don't want to call the function with huge list, right? Suppose if I wanted to pass suppose 10 parameters. Okay, so passing 10 parameters in a function call, or 10 arguments over in function, will increase this to some longer extent, right? So I don't want to do that. Okay, so even if I don't, so suppose since there are 10 parameters and we are going to pass 10 arguments, so chances are more that you will miss certain position. You might place the variable at 10th location, which is supposed to be put at 9th location. Okay, so that may happen. So in order to reduce such things, so we are not going to do with this. So I'm going to pass only one variable over here, and that is my D. And here, of course, that D should be written with double asterisk. But here I can add anything, whatever I want. So my first thing is my name, and my name will be Akshay. Then age, sorry, in double quotes, age will be 25. Then it will be age and likes. Okay, sorry, in double quotes or single quote, anything will work. Will be IoT. Okay, so now since just now I'm giving you only 3 parameters which I'm going to pass over here because I wrote only 3 things, but there will be times when you have to pass more than 10 or 15 parameters to this particular function. So in that case, it is good practice to go ahead with variable length argument when you do not know what will be the variable that you will get, or if in future the chances are like that the number of parameters will increase. So in a similar way, you need to increase the arguments, right? So but again, there is no surety that arguments will be in this particular sequence. In that case, it is good practice to use this type of method that will help you to pack that variable, and again while in a function that will get unpacked. Okay, so if I do like this, see, this is my single variable which I'm passing to intro function, but that single variable is going to unpack and it is going to assign to 3 different variables, and now these 3 different variables will take their next task which they are supposed to do. Okay, so let's run this code and let's see what it is printing. Yeah, see, it printed like print Akshay, he is 25 years old and he is IoT. So now there is no necessary thing that you need to maintain the sequence. You can do like this. See, my sequence is totally messed up and I have a number of things passed over here. Okay, So if I run this code, see again the output is still same. No matter what is your sequence here in the dictionary, this D will appropriately traverse every key from. So it is doing all the things internally. So it will how to do it. Do this certainly that largest value is A and middle is B and smallest value is. So you need to write logic. So that can be done. That can't be done with this. Suraj, for you, to answer your question, you can't do that. So you need to maintain the parameters. So we learned whenever you have, for suppose a function have 5 parameters, you need to pass 5 arguments. That will be always there. Okay, so it will not work. We already saw that in our last hands-on session, right? Okay, is that clear? So we are done with this argument, variable length argument, and packing and unpacking of different arguments. Is that clear? Is there any doubt in this thing? Yeah, perfect, fine. So I guess it's clear, Suresh, right now, okay? Or still you have any questions in this argument specifically? Okay, perfect. Good. So let's move forward towards the next thing. So which is not lambda. So I'm just removing these arguments we are done. So lambda will going to take last. So we need to learn we need to finish this tic-tac-toe game. Okay, so yesterday we did a lot of work over here. Yeah, fine, good. That would be great, Suraj. Okay, so yesterday if you remember, we did something. Okay, I added this function. So yesterday we did something till, okay, let it be. So we know how we just wrote a function to print board, and we were just printing the board. That's it. We are asking user, then if icon is this, then we were asking the choice, and then we were printing the icon on the board, right? So that's what we were doing. Now moving forward in this code, what I did is I added a couple of functions which will help me to reduce the overhead. Okay, so there is few things which I'm going to do. So let me just uncomment comment the code which I did for today, and let me uncomment along with you so that it will be helpful for you to understand it is, right? So the way we were doing from last few days, right? Okay, I'm just removing this whole part from my code, and I'm just pasting it somewhere here in Lambda so that we can take it later on. Okay. Okay, so this was my code yesterday. This was our code yesterday. What we did is we wrote a while function, which was, sorry, we did it here, right? Actually, we do not have this function yesterday. We were doing while true. It was calling our something, right? So I'm just removing this code again. Sorry. Yep. So I was asking the user to print his. Yeah, this is it. This is what we did, right? Yeah, so everybody's with me till now. Give me yes in the chat box so that I'll get to know that you are with me. You are going with me. Okay, perfect, Tanya. Good, Abhinandan Samruddhi. Okay, so what we saw yesterday, we just printed a board, right? So we just we learned how to print board. So those who are new to this, so just go and watch the this particular thing in yesterday's session, which is there on my YouTube channel. Okay, so we took this thing and we were just trying to play with this thing. We are asking user to input. When a user is going to enter a number, we are going to, okay, this is not printing board. Sorry, I missed the function to print the board. Okay, so here this will print board. Yeah, so this will print my board, and which will help us to show or demonstrate us. Yeah, so on first place, I just took one over here, and it is printing my X, that is the icon of the first player. It is printing over here. But yesterday I stopped at a point when we were not giving a chance to second player, right? So we were only playing with only one player, right? So we do not have the second player. So if I put over here 9, so again my X will get printed on this board and there is no second player. So I told you to, right? So that was the activity which I gave you. You have to use. Okay, perfect, Abhindan. Congratulations. So it will, this is really great moment, Abhindan, when you are able to understand what is this and when you able to use your brain to apply those things. So that is very useful. So my agenda, that the reason why I gave you this assignment is successful because at least one student got the right output without taking help from anybody or from internet. Congratulations, Abhinandan. Okay, so what we did yesterday till this, right? So what I want is I want to allow second user to print his symbol as well, right? So in order to do that, I need to check if, or it will be alternate turn, right? So it will be alternate turn when first person will enter his mark, his symbol, his icon, so you can call it anything. So then it will be a chance of second person. One second person who is playing the game will enter his icon, right? So I'm not going to continue this loop forever because I'm going to call, I will create a function over here which will get called when another person which with another symbol will call this function. Okay, so I'm just removing this file from here and it will be a move from, suppose I don't know what will be the icon that will come over here. Okay, so this is, I'm defining a function and I'll call this function somewhere in here in while loop. Okay, so while true, and I'm calling my function with name move. Okay, so here first it will be of first person and then the chance will be of second person. Okay, so here my second person will be O and he will play the game, right? So move, when move X will be called, we'll go to this and then whatever icon that I'm getting, I'm going to print that. I need to copy it. I'm going to print that icon over here. Okay, so this particular board will get populated by that icon. That's it, as simple as that. When X will be called, we'll ask the first person to place his number will come and that particular thing will get printed on the board. So so see, it is just 2 lines of code which I need to do. Whatever I did yesterday, I haven't changed anything. Okay, so only this else line I have added. Yesterday we finished till this, right? So if I run this code and if I suppose this is first person, okay, the first player will be, I'm giving 1 as usual. So X will get 20. Now this is second player's turn, right? So here, I guess there is, yeah. So second player, when in while this O get printed and when second person enter his number, so again this function will move towards this and this particular board will get called. Okay, is that clear? Then again this is the alternate number, right? Another person. So suppose he wants to print his number, suppose this X person and 1 2 1 2 3 4. Okay, so let me, okay, see on fourth position he has printed his number. Now let's go and print for the another person. See, i'm getting the I'm getting board updated according to the person who is changing the game. Okay, so right now it's very very confusing. We don't know which player is going to enter and which player's turn. Suppose you and me, who is there in the last chat? Let me see. So we have Abhinandan. So suppose Abhinandan and me are playing the game, and suppose I had some other work, I was going there. So I'm not able to understand who is this turn. Okay, who is supposed to play, right? So there is no mention that player 1 is going to play or player 2 is going to play, right? So for that, can you move the screen up a bit? Which output screen? Output screen you asking about? No, can you move the screen? No. No. Then which screen? Code screen. Code, perfect. So, so I can't keep them parallel right now. So just see. So this is what we did yesterday. And so this is my first function that will print my board. So let me just remove extra white spaces that will help you to understand the code. Okay, now here when I'm coming inside this function, my board will get printed, and then we'll ask for the user. The first user will enter over here. Then when there will be a space, and suppose since I added this else and all, so if I run this code or if I give the number which is already occupied, suppose I don't know whose turn is this, but one number is already occupied, right? So I'll print one. If I give input as 1, then it will show me this place is already taken, and it will print the board again. Okay, this time it will not update. This is not re-updation. Okay, so suppose this is again, this is second person number. If I'm pushing 1, see it, the place is occupied by X, and it is with him. It is not occupied by, it can't be replaced because I added a check. We can update icon only if there is a space, only if there is no symbol or icon present at that location, then only we can update the position on the board. Okay, so but as I told you, I need to know which person is playing, right? So what I'm going to do is, if icon is equal to X, okay, so if icon is equal to X, then number is equal to 1. Suppose this is first line. Else, sorry, LF will be here because I'm not, if we need to check for this person as well, whether he is not entering another number which is not present in the system. Else if icon is equal to 0, then the number is equal to, or the person, you can say, is equal to, or player is equal to 2. So player would be right word because we are playing a game. Player is equal to 2. What I'm going to do with this? Okay, so I'm going to print this statement, player is equal to 2. Okay, so before printing the board, I'm going to print a statement over here. Your turn now. Player 1, your turn. Or what can be the right appropriate text for him? It's player 2's turn, right? Like that. Your turn will be right. Your turn. Yeah, I was just looking for the suggestions, and what is that? Turn for X or turn for Y. So I no, X and Y can change, right? So player 1 will be taking X at certain point of time. Player 2 can take, so that can be done. Or right now you can say it is X and Y. That is also possible. Your turn. You can directly place icon, but I wanted to make it more user friendly. It will not be a player X and player 0. It will be player 1 and player 2, right? So that's why I'm making it more user friendly. And here I'm going to format. So there is one more method to format string. Okay, you can use F format as well. So you just go and learn what is that F format, those who do not know. Okay, so this is going to print the player name right now. So if X is there, it is going to print your turn player 1, then he'll enter the number, and then there will be next player's game. Okay, so your turn. Okay, I haven't print player. Your turn player. Okay, now it will print the right output for me. Or I can say I will print the board first, and then we'll say, then we'll tell user that your turn. That would be again more. So there will be always improvements that you can do in your code. Just revisit, and every time you will find something new can be done. Okay, so this will be always there. Even if I go back to check my old projects which I built, or one of the application we are building right now. So every time I'm seeing that application, I'm thinking like this can be changed, this can be improved. So suggestions will be always there. Okay. So see, I know this is player 1's turn. So player 1 will be X right now. So I want to place it at position 9. Okay. See, the X is placed at position 9, and now it is asking your turn player 2. Okay. Here I'm going to put 1, and it is at position 1 appropriately, and it is again changing the player to 1. But right now, if I go and if I give or exit all the numbers, see, now only 7th position is blank, right? So see, sorry, 7th or 8th, right? Everything is filled over here, right? So again, still it is asking me your turn, player one. Okay, and yeah, and it is supposed to win the game actually, because zero has put, I just gave random numbers, but since I haven't wrote logic to check if game is draw or if game is a win, I haven't checked anything, right? So so let's go and write the logic for uh, taking the code towards the next level. So we just allowing users to give his input. We haven't wrote any logic to check if game is draw or if game is won by anybody, right? So who would like to go and add that logic of winning the game, or who would like to complete that next part of the game? So this is the very simple thing. This was anybody can do this, replacing the thing. Yeah. Yes, only Suraj. Nobody else is interested. Okay, Nandini is also interested, even though she did the quite good job. She took help from internet, but she did. I saw her output. Yeah, the way Nandini implemented it is quite different, and I'm sure the way Abhinandan has implemented will be again different. So it's your thought process, how you think. It's my thought process, what I just show you, right? So I added player because I think, yeah, Suraj was thinking, give it a name as its X term or O's term. That is your thinking, your thought process. But again, at the end, the base logic will be always same. So again, let's move towards the next thing. What I need to do is I need to check, right? So this is player X and is playing. Okay, both the players will be playing, but after each player check, each player, how do I add it? What? Me, I have given computer turn and Abhishek turn. Okay, fine, perfect. That is what I'm telling you. So Abhishek likes to play with computer. Okay, but I like to play with player one and player two. Okay, I'm not going to play this game. I'm going to build a game. I'm going to sell to somebody else, and there will be player one and player two. So that's my thought process. Okay. Yeah, you can use random function as well. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Yes. So what I need to do is, so once one player completes his move, I need to check whether he has won the game or not. If he has already won, so we do not need to give chance to the next player, right? No need to. Like, if player X has all the X's in a row or in a diagonal, it means he won the game. So we do not need to ask another player to ask to in uh, another player to check if it is one to give his next input, right? So we'll directly check over here. Check winner. Okay, so this is the function which I'm going to call, and here I'm going to pass the parameter as X. Okay, so check winner I haven't declared, that's why it is showing me error. So here I'll create new function called as check winner def, and here will be the icon of the winner. I don't know who will be him. And here I need to write a very big logic. Okay, this is what I'm going to write along with you. Okay, so what will be the winning condition? There will be 9 winning conditions, right? 8 or 9? 8, I guess. 8 winning conditions. So I just want from your side, just give me a numbers which I need to put over here. Okay, so if board of 10 conditions. Okay, perfect, Vidita. I'm not sure. I haven't played this game, so I'm not aware about this. O is equal to okay, board of 0, board of 1. So I'm not going to add everything. Okay, so you just go and do it later on. Okay, board of 2. Okay, so I'm just checking the first condition. If this equals to suppose icon, whatever icon I'm going to pass. So if board 1 equals to board 2, then it is equals to 2. But I'm passing the icon suppose X and it is equals to 0. so then it should not work. So that's why I'm just comparing this thing. If it is equal to, then I'm going to return as true. It means game is won. Okay. Sorry, true should be capital. Okay. Else I'm going to return as false. Okay, so I'm just going to show it for only one condition because adding all the condition will be very difficult. So what you have to do is, in order to add another condition, so this will be your first condition. Sorry. Here you just need to give you need to add that condition inside a bracket. Okay, and here you just give an or symbol. Okay, or will be like this, logical or, and then again start the same thing and put everything again there. Okay, so this whole thing will be here, and this will again check. Sorry, what happened to this? Okay, inside this. Okay, so this will again check for the second row. Okay, so second row will be from 3. So those who were not there for yesterday's lecture, I'm taking it board 0 and board 1 because we have initialized an list for empty spaces for printing the board. So list will always have the first element as at 0 index, and whatever I'm passing over here is an index. So board 0 means the first element from the board. Board 1 means second element from the board. Okay. So likewise, this will be on second row, and this will be board 3, then board 4 will be here, then board 5 will be here. Okay. Then again, it will check for whether icon is matching that particular thing. And why there is error? Is it because I added extra spaces? Yes, because of this one. Okay, gone. So this is my first condition. Let me just give a space. This is my first condition. This is my or condition. If either this or this, if any of them satisfies, then my this check winner will return true. And if my check winner will return true, or I'll just directly put it inside this if check winner. If it is returns true, then I'm going to declare print uh, X has won the game, and then I'm going to break the statement. Game won by. And here I'll break the loop. Okay, once loop is broken, then there will not be next person will not ask for the playing the game. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, in order to save our time, because I want to cover the lambda function as well, I'm going to show you the demonstration how X can win the game. So this is just thing, and in order to do check if draw, so if you want to check the draw, so you just need to check. So I'll just write a function for draw as well. Def check draw. Okay, so you just need to check if this space not in. So do you remember this not in keyword? What is that? So we learned a couple of things on second day, I guess. Not in board. Okay, so it is going to check my board, whole board, and if it do not finding, if he did not find this space on the board, then it will be a draw. It means all spaces are occupied, right? Return true. It means all spaces are occupied, as return. Okay, so I guess somebody got the answer of that. What is that not in? Okay, so this will check if my game is draw or not. Okay, so I forgot to use curly round brackets. Okay, what is that in chat box? Membership, not in. Yes, in and not in are membership operator. Yes, so it is just checking if that empty space, just a space, is there in the board. If yes, it will return true. If no, it will return false. As simple as that. I'll check. Line बन रहा है, horizontal भी बन रहा है. Please. Okay, fine. We'll do it, Suresh. Okay. Okay, so what is that? Yes, so this is just for, I just wrote a function to check a draw. So this is the function for check draw. I'm just going to show you if by winning the first game. And this is it, that's it. I just want to check if check winner is going to return me win. If it is going to return me win, then I'm going to go inside this. If check winner is going to return me false, it will not go inside this loop and it will automatically ask the next person to play his game. Okay, so let's run the code and let me just show you. Sorry, I made a mistake, or this or will not work here, so I am supposed to use this or. Yeah, yeah, so I just this is that was logical or, I guess, so I need to use this or over here. Yeah, this will also work. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, this will also work, but I'll just restrict myself to this because this seems more simpler to me. Okay, so likewise you can add your next 10 conditions, whatever you have, just give enter over here, or you can add likewise. So you just need to enter, hit enter over here, then space, give new condition, your new condition, then again hit enter, and on next line keep writing the new condition. Okay, so I hope you will do the conditions all apart by your own, that I'm not going to waste our time. So I just run the code and I'm going to give the input. Sorry, what's that? Zero division. Okay, sorry, you need to use or, it's a division operator. Okay, running the tic-tac-toe again, and here is the one or. Then I gave this. This is second player's turn. Suppose he's giving 5. Okay. Then again first player's turn. Then again I'm giving 2. Then again second player's turn. I'm giving suppose 3. Okay. Sorry, I am not supposed to give that 3. Okay, I made a mistake. So there is one more condition where the person will win, and that is second condition, right? 3, 4, and okay, again I gave a 4 here. Okay, this person will not win ever, or it will win because 4, 4, and it will equals to. Let me run the code because this will not give us the right output. Okay, again we are going. So our aim is to help player 1 to win the game, because that is what our code is able to do, because we haven't wrote check winner function, or we can write it actually. Copy and let's go and print the same thing over there. After the move of this particular person, let's go and give him a place and we'll print for him. Okay, so any of the player who is going to do the task, who is going to give the output in a line. Yeah, match fixer, yes. So right now, since we are testing, so this is test bot, right? So we need to help somebody to win, then we'll make it optimized. Okay. Yeah, so this will be the first player, then there will be a second player who is going to enter his icon, then again there will be a first player who is going to put his icon, then the next player. Now see, now here I'm going to add X over here, and this should not ask me for the player 2, because once we have all X's in a same line, it means game is already won, right? So this function was going inside this check winner icon, but it is not finding the same icons on each and every place. Okay, so it was finding X over here, it was finding X over here, but here it was empty space, and which is not equals to icon. Icon is X, right? So that's why it was not giving us return. It is always giving us false, and it was not going into this condition. Okay, now I'm going to hit I'm going to pass the 3 number to this particular first player, and the player has won the game, right? So see, the game won by X, and we can see the process finished, and now I can type any input, right? So after this line you can't give user inputs. So that's how we help player 1 to win the game. And it's not about player 1, we can help player 2 as well. Okay, so this code should work for player 2, because we just need to use same function. So now your task is, you need to add more conditions, whatever conditions you need to check, and you just need to give the board index to that condition. Okay, let's check the scenario for draw. Okay, let's check the scenario for draw. I haven't called draw function anywhere, so I need to call that draw function at both the times if player 1 finishes, or let me call the draw function at the very first line itself, because this loop will execute, and no, I guess we should call the draw function as well 2 times, because we do not know. Some player may make some mistake. Check draw, check draw. Okay, and then here as well we are going to call check draw. Okay, check for draw. So if there is no white space, I'm running the code again. Okay, so let's give the very random number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so here let me give 9. Yeah, now this game will be draw, because if I would have give 8 over here, next will be 9, and that first player would have won. Okay, 9. Then suppose I'll type a number which is already existing, 5. See, so this place is already taken, so my code is working fine. Now what I need to do is I need to enter 8. Okay, okay, so we haven't wrote the logic. So if check draw, then what needs to be done? Okay, we haven't wrote that logic. Not draw. Yes, we haven't wrote the logic over here. We need to give condition over here as well. If check draw returns true, then print game is draw, and then we need to break the loop. Game is drawn, like that. So we just missed a very simple thing, and then we need to break the loop, and this will again definitely will go inside this loop like we did it earlier. So this is it. This particular thing, you just need to add those conditions. That's it. Right? If. Yeah, that's it. So our code is full and ready to go. This is full code to check if you are to play the tic-tac-toe game, but only thing is you need to add the conditions. That's it. So it will check for winner, it will check for game draw, and it will print output accordingly on screen. Now it's your turn to make it more beautiful. It's your turn. This is very simpler way. I just gave you the overview how it is all about, how the game can be played and all those things. So it's your turn to add all those extra spaces, and you can make it more interactive by using the real person's name and all those things. So that is your turn. So I guess all of you understood everything, right? Do we have anybody who is not who has any doubt till now? Yes, everything is clear till now. Okay, perfect, Abhinandan. So now today, yes, Samruddhi, today I want all your outputs on that group. I want to see everybody who is attending this session, because you have learned. So we need everybody. So we are, except me, there will be 19 people, right? Vidita, Varsha, Tanya, Suraj, Shruti, Samruddhi, Rutuja, and all. Okay, so just go and make it happen, because until unless you are not going to do it by yourself, you will not understand the Python programming. So this is not about game. This is about understanding how you know or how much you know about Python. Okay, so this particular game will help you to do that. Okay, so if you got stuck again, just post it on group. We have a lot of brilliant people who are learning along with us and who are making huge difference, because they are pretty much ahead of the others. So you can put your queries on the group. So other people, I know Abhinandan and Nandani and Suraj will help you out to solve your issues. Okay. Okay. So with this, we are done with the two things which we are supposed to cover today. So this is the just last thing which I just need to cover, and that is anonymous function lambda. So now what is the need of this lambda function? Okay. So can anybody tell me what is this lambda function? Yes. Do you have any idea about this lambda function and what is the use of it? Why? So this is very trending. Just type lambda on Google, and there will be a lot of things which will come. Lambda function is very popular amongst all the developers. It may be Java developers, Python developers, whatever it may be. It is not a permanent function. Yes. What else? Okay, so whichever programming C++ is not there. Okay, so I'm talking about Java, the advanced programming languages, Java, C, Python, then whether it is TypeScript or JavaScript, whatever it may be, R or anything in Go programming language, it is also there. So it's quick. Yes, it is very quick. It gives you output. It can be made on the go. Yes, so it is just one line function, and you do not need to write a lot of things. You do not need to follow syntax like def. I need to write draw function, and I'm just checking. I'm typing this def unnecessary, right? And the previous add wala function. So add wala function is like I just need to do the addition a plus b. Okay, and why still for addition and subtraction there is only change of symbol, right? Variables are same. I just need to change symbol. But what we are doing, if I have the addition code, okay, we have calc, right? So in calc we were doing addition and subtraction. Okay, so we are supposed to do the same thing. Value is equal to num1 minus 2. Value is equal to num1 minus num2. Okay. So we just need to change the symbol, but we are writing whole different lines of code. We need to define, then we need to write the function name, then we need to pass arguments, then we need to do addition, and then we need to return as well. Okay, so this is good when you are doing small or when you are beginner. But as soon as you are moving forward, as soon as you are growing, so that time I would not recommend. Okay, so I would not recommend you to go and use the normal function. So in order to make smaller jobs, or if you do not need to have a lot of input, so in case if you want only true and false from a function, okay, so likewise we did over here, right? So what we did, we were just checking either it's true or false here as well as here it's as well. Okay, so but still it was taking a lot of things, right? So in such cases you can leverage the power of this lambda function. Can you say after the class? So I have, yeah. No, I can't stay today, Suresh. So I have something again. So my schedule is really packed. Will I message you already? Will give you dedicate time tomorrow, not today. Okay. So lambda function is really very awesome. And let me just give you a few things about this lambda function. And yes, so lambda function is all about, it takes any number of parameters. Like we saw, if you want to pass x parameters, you need to check with arguments whether we are getting those much arguments. Okay, so we don't need to worry about. So lambda function takes number of parameters whatever you want, but it returns only one value, single value. Either it is calculation, addition, subtraction from a number, or it is true and false value. Okay, they cannot contain multiple expression. Like I told you, there will be only one, the expression will be only evaluating the things. Okay, sorry, we can't do if and else condition over there. Or if you use tertiary operator, that work can be done over there. If you want to check if and else. So we haven't used that ternary operator, so you don't know about it. So right now just try to understand, lambda function only returns one value, but you cannot contain multiple expression. Likewise, on first line you are doing, let me just give you an example of this. Okay, so suppose this is your function, and suppose this is add function, and here in this function, here you wrote something like a plus b, then on second line you are doing some print statement, and then third line you are doing some print statement or something like that. So these are number of expressions. Okay, and then you are returning over here, right? Returning, or if you want to pass that addition to some another variable, c is equal to a plus b. Okay, likewise, or you need to reassign the addition, or you need to reassign the number, d is equal to a, or something like that. So this is the multiple expression. That is first expression, this is second, this is third. Only this the print statement will not be calculated as expression and not even written. So likewise you can't do it. So if you are using lambda function, there should be only one expression which should do all your calculation, which should do all your stuff. Okay, so in those cases only you can use the lambda function. Now let's go and check what is the syntax, how to write that lambda function. So you need to define that function. How? So lambda, so this is the keyword. Lambda is the keyword that you need to use. Then there will be arguments. So like in function you are using curly braces, sorry, the square, the parenthesis. So in lambda you do not need to. Okay, So you can pass the arguments whatever you want by just separating a space, and the next arguments will be comma separated, and then this colon will be just like our operation. What is that? Our function, and then we need to write an expression. Okay, so let's go keep that word, keep that thing which you saw in your mind, and we'll put it on the this PyCharm ID. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, again my favorite function is addition, but this time I do not need to define that function. I'll simply write a lambda, and this should do my all the stuff. Okay, suppose my first variable is a, second variable is b, and my third variable is c, right? C. And now I just need to do the addition. Okay, a plus b plus c, right? So this should return me everything, right? So here I'm going to, what I'm going to do is, sorry, do I need to define the name to this lambda function? Yes, what say? So I need to assign it to somewhere. Okay, so just defining lambda will not work. I need to assign this lambda function to a variable. Okay, so this will be my sum variable. So here, what I'll do, this will be a sum. Yes, who is in the chat box? Yes, you need to assign. So sorry, lambda, if by mistake, maybe I just removed that lambda from you. Okay. So here, after whatever this lambda function is doing, whatever value is calculating, I need to assign it to somewhere. Okay. So this lambda function will be called when we are calling this sum. Okay. So this sum will be there, and here I'm going to pass my values 10, 15, 23. Okay. So after this, what this will do, this sum will go over here, and this sum. Now see, this is not your normal function, but this is a lambda function, also called as anonymous function. We do not have any definite structure, like Suraj mentioned. So all these three parameters will take place and will replace over here, and the next this function will execute. This will return the addition of this over here, and we will able to print that addition. So let's go and check whether it is working as per expectation. See, I got my addition. So if I wanted to do something with another variable, suppose I wanted to add it over here, d, and then again I'm going to increase my the number with 2. I want to complete the 50, so I'm just adding the next variable with value 2. And if I run this code, this should be the addition of 50. Okay, so I haven't added over here. Okay, so that's why it happened. So I need to do these are the arguments I'm passing. These are the parameters of the function, and these are the statements, or this is the expression. So this actually is evaluating and giving me the output. Okay, so see, we don't need to use the return statement which were using earlier. See, I got my output as 50. Okay, so all our logics which we used, the keyword argument, expression argument, and all XYZ arguments, so everything is applicable over here. So whatever we learned, okay, so that's why I kept it at the end, because you need to know what is argument, what are the types of arguments, how you can pass arguments in the function, then only we can cover this thing. Perfect. So is it interesting? Is it something that is really very new to all of you? I guess Abhinandan knew it. I have a question about function, and that is not working correctly. Later on, Suraj, part from operators. Sorry, what is this, Divya? I didn't get your question. Is this lambda function faster than? Yes, it is much faster. It is much faster. So when we need to do a very quick operation, we do not use a bigger function. When we know that this is only going to give me a single value, that time we mostly use this lambda function. And if you heard about Amazon Web Services serverless architecture, AWS is also using lambda function to make the serverless deployment. Okay, just search about lambda function in Amazon. Okay, so AWS. So this is really very big. Another example of lambda. Okay, So let's go and try to print something. Okay, like what we were doing. So it's intro. So that we took. Okay, so this will be my intro. This will be my lambda. Okay, so then again I'll be taking my variables, my favorite variables, same to same. So everything will revolve around the same things. So you can, if you have anything else, you can add it, you can practice it with them. And here I'm going to print. Okay, so this will print. This is only one. I can write only one statement over here. You can't write multiple statements. Okay, so that is what. Okay, he is curly braces, then likes, then again curly braces dot format name, then age, then likes. Okay, so this is the same thing which we did. I just need to add first meet. Okay, perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this function. See, before, where was that code unpacking, I guess. So here intro, for writing intro, we did bunch of code, right? We called that function over here, then we wrote something like def, then this, then parameters, and then we printed this thing. We can do it in a very simple way using this lambda function by just in a single line. Okay, if you don't want to go and put number of things, you can do it like this. Okay, now here you need to just call, you don't need to print a1. Okay, you just need to call intro and pass the parameters which you wanted. Okay, suppose this is AKXY, then this is 25, then this is IoT. Okay, so if I run this code, so it will again give me the same output which I was looking for. Okay, so but just make sure there will be only one line statement that you can add over here. So if you want to check either true or false, okay, or you can do something like this: A is greater than B. Okay, so this will directly return itself. Okay, whether it is true or false. You don't need to use true and false with tertiary operator. Let's do it. Okay, so this will help you to write what your smallest number or largest number, whatever it may be. Okay, I'm going to call this smallest and let me run this code. It will return either true or false. Okay, see, this is false. My 10 is not greater than 15. It means it is false. Let me change the numbers. So it's 25 and let me run this code. Yeah, I got a true, right? So it is, see, in order to write or in order to check if number is smaller or greater, you need to do a lot of coding, right? So you need to add if A is greater than this, then return true, else return false. So all that big code is replaced by this just small 4-5 characters. Okay, 4-5 words you can say. So your code and your work becomes really very easy because of this lambda function, and it will definitely gonna help when you are going to start working on actual projects. Okay, so that time you, like I'm doing right now, you will not worry about what is this normal function. So every time you know your end result, you know you need only one value, either true or false, or the calculation of certain thing, or whether you need to pass the signal. That time you will not go and use normal function. You will definitely want to use this lambda, and it is a recommended thing to use lambda for all that thing. So, and if you, I couldn't show you time, otherwise I would have. So just check the complexity of this using this lambda function and using the normal function. The lambda function will evaluate much faster than your normal function. Do the same operation. Check if number is smaller or not. Do it with lambda, do it with normal function, and find it on Google somewhere where you can check the performance. And you will definitely want to find this is much better than the rest. Okay, so is it clear?